Hi Robert, thanks so much for your time today. I'm really interested in what you guys like to invest in and what your domain interest is.
Yeah, so I'm with Shasta Ventures, and we invest in early stage technology companies. About half the investments we make are enterprise focused, and the other half are consumer focused.
Right. What's your main passion?
So the thing I'm particularly interested in is the intersection between the real world that we all live in every day that we know and the internet. And if you take a look historically, you look at web browsers, even if you look at mobile, there's a very clear screen or separation between the real world we all live in and the internet and the services that we're familiar with. And what I'm very fascinated by, like, are things like wearables, where you have devices like this that connect to and interact with the internet, and they're completely outside of the old paradigm of how we would communicate with a cloud and use those services.
And I guess that field's just going to keep booming, correct?
Yes, yeah. No, it's definitely something that is continuing to accelerate. So you take a look at things like Google Glasses with a heads-up display, you look at quantified self devices, you take a look at companies like Nest, where we're an early investor, where the internet is connected directly into the thermostat itself, automatically upgrades the thermostat, and it actually learns from your behavior and programs itself. And I think you'll see more and more devices like that at the intersection of the real world and the internet.
Fabulous. It's an exciting time to be around, an exciting time to be in the Valley.
Yes, yeah, very exciting time.
So tell me some of the companies that you've invested in.
So one of the companies that I just mentioned is called Nest Labs. We're an early investor, so we invested when there were 10 people working out of the proverbial and literal garage in Palo Alto. The founders came from Apple. Tony Fadell, one of the two founders, was a consultant who came into Apple, designed the original iPod, brought 15 generations of the iPod to market, and then the first 2 generations of the iPhone. He left Apple about 4 years ago. Started looking at some ideas, thinking about some ideas, and decided that he wanted to investigate unloved products in our lives and how connecting those unloved products to the internet together with great industrial design could create new product categories. And the one that he settled on with Matt Rogers is called Nest. And they've launched this internet-connected thermostat that I talked about that programs itself.
And I'm fascinated about all the changes that have been happening in the venture industry since I've been here. I guess one of the reasons being the Jobs Act last year, crowdfunding,
Yes.
and also now what I'm seeing in the last couple of years is venture firms springing up all over the globe, not just Silicon Valley.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
That to me equals more startups going to be funded,
Yes.
and more people being educated about the funding process. Obviously, there's even more further changes. How are you viewing the changes in the industry?
So one of the things that I find kind of strange after being in the venture industry for close to 20 years now is that a lot of venture capitalists like to talk about how entrepreneurs should embrace disruption, but it is interesting to see how many venture capitalists either embrace disruption in their own industry or dismiss it and think it's not happening. And my view is anything that creates better opportunities for entrepreneurs to start businesses, people in the venture business should embrace. So wherever those entrepreneurs are in the world, whatever services they need, however you can help. And we as a firm, Shasta, have responded by saying, we're a boutique firm. We're not intending to be a full service firm that will do everything for you. But in certain areas, like enterprise software and consumer hardware, and the areas that I focus on, we go very deep in the area, we get to know the people well, and we get to where we think we can really help the entrepreneurs connect with the right people. So it's a very different strategy. So helping people understand crowdfunding, for example, helping people think about international expansion, helping people think about how to promote their businesses and recruit are all areas that we help with. But it's a very partner and expertise focus model as opposed to a full service supermarket.
Right. And I gather then that you actually look at investments outside of the Valley?
So we're open to that,
right.
And I believe that great companies can be started anywhere in the world.
Yes.
As part of our boutique strategy, we're very focused on the U.S. to be perfectly candid. However, we truly believe that great businesses can be built anywhere in the world. I spend at least 1 or 2 trips a year going on what I think of as business tourism, where I go to a part of the world where I haven't had a lot of exposure to get to know people in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So I've made these trips to India, to Turkey, to Ireland, which we were talking about earlier. And I'm convinced that there are opportunities to start great companies anywhere.
It is really, again, another exciting reason to be alive.
Yes.
In this ecosystem, to see
Yes.
it going global. I've always felt, because I've lived in a few countries, that I'm a global citizen. It's just so nice that the Valley would be more connected in that way.
Yes.
Rather than being in its own bubble.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And we were speaking that you're going to the Dublin Web Summit. That's
Yes.
very exciting.
Yeah,
It's
looking forward to that.
conference.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God, they get such great talent there.
Yes,
And
yes.
the little town of Dublin, on the Liffey there.
It's
it
not
must
that
really
small a
shape-
town. It's not that small a town.
Well, I used to walk around it when I lived in it. So I lived in the city centre, just next to Stephen's Green. So
Yes.
I like that it's a town that everything's on the ground.
Yes. Well, I think it's very well suited to an entrepreneurial culture because the sense that I have, and I've only been there once, but the pub culture appears to be a strong culture.
Yes.
And the pub culture, at least the one that I saw, was a very positive one where people were friendly, interested in getting to know people. And it's that sort of, I'd say, curiosity and I would say inquisitiveness, but friendliness that leads to, in my view, a strong entrepreneurial culture.
And it's great that the government's really supporting the startup culture to get back on the Irish feet, basically. Look, thanks so much for your time. Lovely to meet you.
Yes,
and have
thanks
a
for having me.
fabulous time in
Yes,
Dublin.
yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.